Popular culture is something that we all experience every day. With the introduction of the internet age and social media, popular culture is more prominent in our lifestyles and day to day lives than it ever has been. Social networking allows us to access elements of popular culture and media almost instantly. We are also able to share these discoveries to millions of people with the click of a button. This creates trends and topics on a global scale and drastically affects the way that we live our lives. Celebrity culture, consumerism, and artistic waves are often partly to blame for the emergence of popular culture and the way that society has begun to embrace it. No more is low art shunned to one side for favour of poetry or theatre. Critically acclaimed films, television series, and music all exist parallel to more classical forms of culture, and the title for the highest grossing entertainment product within 3 days is actually a video game. Grand Theft Auto V has sold over 54 million copies since its release. The game itself allows players to explore a fictional representation of Los Angeles and plays with loads of ideas about popular culture. To create a realistic open world environment, Rockstar Game Studios uses hegemonic ideas of representation to build stereotypical characters, environments, and tasks to undertake that align with contemporary day to day life. They have used fictional versions of the iPhone to allow the player to take in-game selfies, as well as allowing the player to compete in popular culture sports and undertake activities such as tennis, bowling, and cycling. These representations of popular culture create a paradox as they exist within the game, but also the game itself exists within Western popular culture due to its huge success. Attitudes towards culture are changing, and as we begin to live our lives in an online space, the lines between high culture and low culture are drastically changing. Popular culture itself is, by definition, culture that is excessively popular. This popularity makes large aspects of popular culture victim to hegemonic ideology. Institutionalized ideas passed through the rich, powerful, and downright archaic exist within the popular culture forms that we consume today. For example, the representations of race, class, and gender in most contemporary films, games, and TV shows seem to align with ideas that were dominant years ago, and yet those that consume them do not challenge these representations as they fall victim to what Michel Foucault describes as false consciousness. Popular culture is very much subjective. Each individual would describe certain artists, films, and trends in completely different ways depending on what demographic they fall into. What may be considered popular culture to a group of people in Leeds may be completely different to what may be classed as popular culture to those in London. This applies to different countries, ages, class, and cultural backgrounds, which is just another reason why popular culture is so hard to define. By creating conflicting definitions of what is popular culture, we can start to analyze subculture and its place in popular culture studies. Subculture is a deviation of popular culture. It could not be considered high or elitist culture, but in no way represents mass culture. Subcultures are usually made up of a community that enjoys similar things. This enjoyment spreads, and eventually this community grows and often builds a political motive. Often these subcultures are attacked by mainstream media and moral panic forms, which is used to justify the condemnation of this part of society. Technological advances in recent years have allowed the media consumer to become the media producer. This is an exciting time for popular culture as it allows huge trends to form based around recognized talent. For example, apps like Vine have created stars merely from uploading short clips. These stars have gone on to create careers and become entwined with our culture. In conclusion, defining popular culture is very difficult. Every society experiences it, yet no one experiences it the same. Hegemonic ideology presents a large portion of what we would call popular culture. However, in a changing landscape that is vastly becoming more social through the means of online sharing, this hegemony is being pushed aside in favor of raw forms of culture that create audiences within a few minutes and encompass the masses within hours. The accessibility we have to culture nowadays means that subcultures are no longer vilified. The mainstream media can no longer orchestrate beliefs in the way that they did, and those that want to avoid and challenge hegemony have the means to do so.